you guys. Welcome to the Noble L Show. I want to thank the powers that be for sharing so much with me the past couple of days. You guys, not even funny. All right, so you guys know some stuff has gone down. So as you know, we've already served the international authorities. So I'm going to make a public declaration and affidavit here. Thank you again for sharing this older video with us of a seer of the Duke of Tears this night, clearing the cobwebs that obscure the true Moorish science. I'm going to put this in the description below so you guys can listen to some of the history and some of the semantics and things that have gone on, because history and law goes hand in hand, right? Now, we had received some information here about the agent doing business as judge overseeing the matter in with our brother, Judge, the lady doing business as Emily um, Karstetter, Karstetter, doing business as judge, overseeing the rise of the Moors case. And I want to say, is that in Massachusetts, right? Now, they had sent to us earlier today a video that we thought that they were freed, but someone reported that it was an older video. I think it was on Facebook. If it'll come up, I'm not sure if it'll come up here. But what our brother was saying was something really significant that I thought was very important to hear. I was listening to this one originally, and then this one led to something else. This was the actual case or the hearing, and then after that there's one that came up that he had done, I guess, previous. But what he was saying was that he received a copy of the 14th Amendment that I guess was never ratified, and he had managed to put that in a case. I think our woman used it. I thought he said he'd used it because it was speaking to the labeling of a lot of us who were listed as black, Negro, coloreds. However, what he was stating was because it wasn't ratified, it actually had no weight, right? And so he was speaking to the color of law, right, which a lot of us were being subject to. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on globally too, you guys. They were creating the superhero vaccine that changes your genes. I'll put a lot of these in the description below so you guys can watch these now. They sent us a very disturbing movie that just kind of blew my mind. It had me sitting there for a couple of days just trying to make sense of some of the stuff that's gone down. Now, it was reported to us that the movie was with Bill Cosby's one of the stars, Keisha Knight Pulliam, I think her name was, and unbelievable. There was also reported to us that there was this sex cult that was being run by this teenager who was also an actor. Um, this one with Keisha, she played this lawyer who was hired on as a judge. I'll talk about that in a moment, with the fact that I'll talk about it now. It seemed in the movie that the chief of police, the agent doing business as judge, the all the so-called lawyers and attorneys had a contract. They had these contracts, these lucrative government contracts. And in the movie, they had received up to 600 million to put who, you guys? Young minorities listed as blacks, Hispanics, what have you, and I guess those who didn't understand law, in the so-called churches doing business as jails, and they were getting a kickback contracts. So in Keisha's case, when she got the job as judge, they initially gave her a $350,000 private club membership. Private club membership, you guys. I remember when I was young, and I was explaining to our elders, we had been seconded to teach this program against the negative effects of drugs and alcohol. And the teacher at the time, really nice lady, took her to her domicile and then took us to her private country club. Well, that was the first time in my life I've ever seen something so incredible. I didn't even know these things existed. And it was the size of, I want to say, like almost like an entire state. It was massive. It had Olympic-sized pools. It had tons of restaurants and what have you. I want to ask a question if they were actually wearing masks during this time. Don't laugh, you guys, but just a question that came to me. Anyways, after she got the $350,000 club membership, then someone came up to her and had her hold this envelope by accident, supposedly, and turns out in the envelope was $50,000. And then she immediately went to her boss, who then told her that she was a part of this operation, this program to incarcerate young blacks, Hispanics, and what have you. So this goes back to, I want to say, the Barack Obama and the Clinton when they were supposed to be doing that war on drugs, which we then discovered was really war against us, right? So, yeah, really interesting movie because it really explains a lot of what was going on. I don't know if it's still going on because in the movie there was a scene where a lot of these agents were being rounded up. Um, yeah, and then there's this thing about this vaccine that's based on Olympic superheroes, and I'm not sure if that's the jab that's in play now. And then there was also some flooding in New York City. There was also flooding in Japan. Um, there was question raised about the efficacy of the so-called jabs, and also there was apparently a lot of shootings that went down, you guys, on July the 4th. And so there was some of that stuff. You guys can join us on our email group. You can email us for that. Also, they sent to us new CFPB digital housing toolkit to educate struggling homeowners and renters, right? So we'd sent this off to our people as well here. And then some of the information was in some of the shows as we were talking about, like Downtown Abbey, and yeah, there was a lot of shows that they were sending to us. That one in particular that talked about Morocco and Timbuktu that I rarely ever hear anyone talk about. So that was interesting. But I want to share with you guys now um, the affidavit that we were sent by the grace of God to share. Um, so I'll put it out here. International authorities. First of all, I want to put a hedge protection around all that is good globally. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. You guys know that Donald Trump is sued. I think it was Google, and I think it's relating to antitrust laws. Thank you to you guys who are sharing all the laws that are out there now. There was one executive order, I think it was put out by Biden for something about fair competition in America to do business. Anyways, this lawsuit that Donald Trump had filed against Google was relating to antitrust laws, the monopolies that are in place, which is what we had put the affidavit out some time ago because it was all a monopoly, eh? Which is why we use the Moorish calendar and the Julian calendar because we're removed from that. The 13-day time difference under the Julian calendar, we own the name. So you own the name. What happened was a lot of our names, if not all of them, were supposedly copyrighted and patented, and that right under the driver's license, marriage license, birth certificates, what have you. Hence the all caps, right? Anyways, so there was that, and there was another case that we heard about recently. If it comes to memory, I'll talk about it. But yeah, a lot of the antitrust stuff now are being implemented. So, attention office of this is notice to agent is notice to principal. Notice to principal is notice to agent and to all heirs and assigns. Um, this was already put out on Interpol and all the international authorities, the International Criminal World Court, the Army, the Navy, the military, the Marines, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Michael Flynn, JFK, and Romana Diglio doing business as sovereign head of state and commander-in-chief of the Sovereign Republic of Canada, and all that is good. I come to you in good faith in one's proper person as living flesh and blood, sentient being, suri juris, suri heirs, heir to the world's vastest state, Rubinite tribe, chief American, Indian, Moorish American national, protected by Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 as Indians non-taxed, and Moorish American nationals, AA 222141 as Moors tax immune, and using the Georgia Code for us and Jamal and the Rise of the Moors, page 832 and or 834, as we are Moors and Indians, free from all criminal prosecution. Now, as such, see to it that Jamal and the Rise of the Moors people are freed this night. I command and require you now to implement all stated here, right? They had 1 hour to rebut all stated here. Have them write back to me or send it to me immediately that none of the stuff in here pertains to them and none of these laws stand. For as they've been subjected to unlawful search and seizure, which is in the Constitution, Amendment 4 in the Constitution, as all must be signed by a lawful clerk and or a lawful judge with date, stamp, and seal, stating the person to be seized, the property to be seized, right, with date, stamp, and seal. And then as per the Clearfield Doctrine, 1942 Supreme Court case, which speaks to the coup d'etat that took place in 1861, all these agents doing business as so-called judges, lawyers, attorneys are now in their private capacity, are deemed to be in their private capacity when they're subject to using Federal Reserve notes and can be sued as such. Now, the question begs, as per Trinzi versus Pagliaro, where is the injured party? Where is the contract that they signed? Where is the injured party in this instant matter, which, as you guys know, is supposed to be the United States Corporation? The United States Corporation has to be standing in that courtroom, that building doing business courtroom, as the injured party, as all these accusations and legalism and bondage speaks to the District of Columbia, a 90-mile radius. A 90-mile radius in the District of Columbia. So the question begs, are these agents operating in their private capacity and out of the jurisdiction, which is common law, common sense? Are they using Admiral Maritime jurisdiction? Did they take an oath to the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act? And then did they take an oath to uphold the Constitution and the treaties in that? And the question begs, do they have an anti-bribery statement and a foreign registration statement? And do they have a letter, an exemption letter from the Secretary of State in Puerto Rico, right? And then are these agents doing business as mercenaries, carrying weapons on the roadway, claiming to be police, really private agents working for the United Nations privately? All right, and so did they take an oath to uphold the Constitution and the 1787 Treaty of Peace and Friendship? And I have 1776 Constitution and Friendship, 1778 Treaty of Peace and Friendship, and ask these agents, use the duty to accommodate for those of us made disabled. As you know, we were subject to identity theft from the creation of the birth certificate bonds, right? That stole our estates and put us on the wardship status. And we were listed as orphans in Delaware, right? And so, so we were subject to paper genocide, paper slavery, right? And so these agents doing business as police, do they have a warrant signed by a lawful judge and or a lawful clerk with date, stamp, and seal? Show us the contract that any of us, heirs, Moors, signed with our wet ink signature and theirs. So use the duty to accommodate for those of us made disabled, as we're subject to the Rockefeller Board of Education system, and a lot of us are not fully aware of all the semantics and the changes that took place on all of us globally. We don't know all the laws, and so we're just out here going by the seat of our pants by the grace of Almighty God, subject to corporations and different statuses and labels. And so just remove those corporate structures that may be binding us in any way for all of us internationally, globally, and for Jamal as well too. And see to it now that you use our 449-59344 You guys don't use it. I'm just giving this one instant matter. International authorities use that number 449-59344, given to us by the United States Federal Trade Commission as a clearinghouse number, to set off all purported debts and taxes for us here. Use it in this instant matter now, and the GSA bond web videos that we've shared with them and all internationally. If there's bonds being floated and traded on Jamal and the Rise of the Moors heirs and the people there, have them use the SF, a GSA bond 1414, 1416, 1418, and 1414, and SF GSA bond 30, and any other bonds that you shared with us here. Use a set off information that you sent to us, along with the other stuff that we've shared with the entity that you know wrote to us yesterday, the IRS status correction, the cease and desist affidavit, the do not detain affidavit, and all the other affidavits that you've shared with us, along with the abatement affidavit. We've sent that off to the agent doing business as judge. In this instant matter, her name is, let me see if I got her written information here. I think it's Kessler. I'm going to repeat it again. Oh, here it is. Judge. She's doing business as Emily Karstetter. Yeah. So see to it now that she has received all of that information to set off those bonds immediately. So tell them to govern themselves accordingly. As you know, all that we do here is by the grace of Almighty God. It is a divine, it's a divine, it's a divine and national movement, right? And you know we speak other languages here. So English is not our, it's not our mother tongue. And I'm speaking it here so everybody can understand what we're saying, right? And you know that we do not understand. Use the duty to accommodate us and the Rise of the Moors and Jamal in this instant matter, and set free him and them and all the other Moors and the good people subject to this agents doing business as getting lucrative government contracts, right? Now, as we're being targeted, we require an advocate. We require guidance. Our lives have been placed in jeopardy. So do that all on our behalf now, as it appears we're being subject to, and they're being subject to, high treason, genocide, war crimes against humanity, peonage, human trafficking, identity theft, copyright infringement, intellectual property theft. And so see to it now that all is remedied this night. So the agents doing business as judges and clerks and all involved, right? They're not subjected to any more hardship than the treason and genocide that they're probably already charged with. So just protect everybody involved. And yeah, so have them now produce to you their Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act and their anti-bribery statement and their tax exemption letter from the Secretary of State in Puerto Rico. Ask them if they're Jesuits. Are they Jesuits working under the KKK members, as Freemason Society agents, Skull and Bones agents? Do they have a 501c3 kickback contract, right? And those of us who mistakenly may have gone out and gotten a 501c3 contract, can you squash that for all of us who may not even know that there may be one in place for us? Those of us here as Reubenite tribe chiefs, we don't have a corporate structure, as you know. However, that being said, we know that a lot of people were miseducated and misguided into getting a lot of stuff that they may not have needed and didn't understand the legalities around that. So I'm asking you now, I require a command, that you remove that on our behalf now. So yeah, were these agents doing business as police really private foreign agents doing business as mercenaries, wearing costumes and carrying weapons on the roadway, as per Shuttleworth versus Birmingham, Alabama, which stated we do not need a license, registration, or insurance to travel on the roadway. And so, do we have a right to bear arms as per the Constitution? And so, as you know, Jamal was in the military at one point. And so, does he and the rest of us have a right to bear arms? And if so, set them free this night. All right. And so, as you know, we talked about that earlier. And then, as you know, these agents can be sued in their private capacity now, doing business as judges, lawyers, attorneys, police, what have you, to the tune of 75,000 for punitive damages, 75,000 for compensatory damages, 75,000 for defamation of character on us heirs, Moors, indigenous, right? Us here as American Indians as well. Now, what we're asking you to do is, as stated here, right? If for whatever reason these people are not set free this night, then that stands as law, true fact, unrebutted, right? Use our 9 billion international copyright for each and every day they're subject to unlawful incarceration, right? So have them set free this night so everybody's protected, right? And then payable in lawful money and or fiat equivalent and or whatever currency is in play at the time of payout, right? Now, we know that we have a 100 quadrillion lien on the record, as stated here. If for whatever reason they're not set free instantaneously, you can add these agents to that lien as well. We're asking that they be set free immediately, right? Now, this is speaking to the Georgia Commons Code of Georgia, the Georgia Codes, which stands as law. As it states, hence all Moors, American Indians are immune from all criminal prosecution and jurisdiction of the inferior court of several counties of the state shall have jurisdiction of the several offenses created or mentioned by this act in all cases in which by the Constitution in the state jurisdiction may be entertained by them. 47 exceptions in favor of Aborigines, Moors, Hindus, exceptions in favor of Aborigines, Moors, Hindus. The provision prohibits and penalties of this act shall not extend to any American Indian, free Moor, or Lascar, but the burden of proof in all cases of arrest of any person of color shall be on such person of color to show him or herself exempt. So we're exempt from the operation of this act. Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, as American Indians were exempt from all manner of taxation. And then in the plea that we have put in the video many moons ago that you shared with us, I am not here to make a plea. I'm not here to make a plea. I'm here to remedy this matter, settle this matter, as it appears to be a tax matter, right? So 18 U.S. Code 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. You could utilize that law as well too, and then see to it now that you do a full audit. International authorities, IRS agents use the form 706, 8281, 3949A, 4905, I think it is, 1099 ABC, 1040, and do a full audit on these agents. And the Form 56, make them all fiduciary trustees in this instant matter, and see to it now that they haven't created any checks using Jamal's or any of our names, and that they do not owe any taxes on these said matters. If taxes are owed, do a full audit, round up all the profits generated from the said bonds in play, and then return those profits to Jamal, as well as use the channel with all the laws that you shared with us, the 4,000 plus laws on that channel, to see to it whatever compensation that Jamal and them are supposed to get, they receive it this night for all interference by all third-party interlopers, right? As the question begs, are these foreign agents European colonists occupying our lands? Do they have a social security number, an address, and a nationality identification card? Where is their nationality identification card? Where is their nationality identification card? Is this their lands? Are they Europeans occupying our lands as colonists? And so have that all sent to us immediately this night. Otherwise, put everything through. See to it the heirs, Moors, Jamal, and the rest of them are set free this night. And yeah, compensate them for all the undue hardship and the defamation of character, right? Thank you in advance for your speedy response to this matter by Noble Honorable Ange Elinidi Alfred El Ribonite Tribe Chief, American Indian, Allodial Title Moorish American National, UCC 1-308 without recourse, all rights reserved. I stand by the Book of Ruth by my deceased, organ harvested husband, myself, Jackson. Tolo tkono na takana e kakaina tkono e kakaina he takana no chkana na itaki nina na ka e kaina roko tolo takana na e tara na takana no chkano o ko ina ha takana na nina na ka i takana no chko ina he takana na e kaina ho tokoro no o ko ina he takana na nina na ka takana no chkano o kaina he takana na no no ko o i kaina ha takana na no no ko hi takana na takana ni takana na itaki. All right, so everything we've posted here. Yeah, fair use applies. You guys can write to us on our new website. You can join our online email group. You can join our online tutor school classes. We're up to 13 classes. You could either do them one by one, or you can order all of them, right? You can also join us on the two channels, Noble L and Noble L the second. And yeah, there's a number of other things that international authorities see to it's remedied now. The elders in Canaanite land, Canada, have reported to us that these third-party interlopers are coming around their senior citizen buildings again this week. See to it the people are protected over there. From the said jobs, they're telling them to put chairs outside their apartments and that. See to it the people are protected now, as well as going around at the agents doing business as Transport Authority here in this territory known as Jamaica. As you know, we were on the roadway traveling with our private driver the other day, and we were stopped by these agents wearing costumes, claiming to be Transport Authority. And I was sitting next to the driver, as you could see, and you could hear the extortion that was being subjected to the driver. And he quietly said to this extortionist doing business as Transport Authority, he cannot ask me for notes. What the Transport Authority was telling him to do was trying to get me to pay the Transport Authority agent extortion fees. As you know, we're out of the jurisdiction, so we're not involved in any of these corporations' constructs. We have our own private conveyance, and we've already served the manufacturer's certificate of origin, so our automobile is now ours for the first time in this lifetime, no longer subject to the state, right? And our drivers and all the people that we do any commerce with are protected by us heirs, right? As they too may be Moors, Ispojer. So see to it that you round up that corporation and shut it down in this territory so that people can be free. If those agents are good, give them back their estate so they can live and, yeah, have a life as well too, right? Now, in addition to that, we were also told that the beaches here will be opening up, and you know that Bluefields Beach is adjacent to that posh hotel, and it appears that the posh hotel may be encroaching on the people's private lands and beaches, right? So now it was reported that these private agents doing business, mercenaries, doing business, mayors and politicians here, are planning to open up the beaches here for a fee on the local heirs here. So you're going to go and shut that down now, open up all the beaches free of charge so that people can go in the waters, the salt water, which was just reported to us by Light, that the sea salt is the highest commodity in the land, worth more than even gold. So see to it now that people can go to the beach and get whatever healing or whatever they require instantly, right? As we heirs are protected by the land, the seas, and everything around us in the atmosphere, right? and yeah, see to it that they can go on their lands freely without any undue financial hardship subjected to them in any way. And a bunch of other stuff we reported to you. We're asking you now to remedy all those other matters that we reported to you privately so that people can be protected, right? In addition to that, you're going to round up the agents doing business as a Toronto Transport Commission, doing business as bus drivers and what have you. As you know, that a lot of our seniors and elders were made disabled, and so they're having difficulties now with wearing the masks and are coughing and having other experiences. So, in addition to their health that's already been subjected to all kinds of surgeries, so we're asking now that you speak to the TTC head, the Toronto Transit Commission heads, and have them lift the masks on all the seniors and all the people that can't handle it. They don't have the strength to argue with them, right? And so they're asking so they can travel and do what they have to do in commerce, right? Freely and independently. And so we're asking for that be implemented this night so the people can be free and protected, right? I'm just trying to see if there was any other things here. We had listed a few matters that people were reporting to us. And yeah, let me just see. Yeah, see to we get full financial compensation now. Send us, yeah, full estate and whatever else we're supposed to get, lands and what have you, so that people can be free. As you know, it was reported to us here that an agent doing business as his alias was Crocodile. He's just met his demise. I think it was Thursday. Um, yeah, we were saddened to hear how the people are taken out because you know that we had spoken to him directly to stop the treason and the genocide on the masses, driving around trucks, telling people to do social distancing and wear masks, right? And then the people were so scared that they didn't bother to know and study out the science and the health ramifications around that, right? So since then, a lot of people have reported to us that their loved ones have passed on through other complications, pneumonia and what have you. So we were saddened to hear that he died on Thursday, but we're trying to tell people here to stop the genocide and the treason on the people, right? Let me see. Okay. Yeah, so just see to it everyone is free now. Thank you in advance for your speedy response to those matters. By Noble Honorable Ange Elena D. Alfred L. Rubinite Tribe Chief, American Indian, Loaded Title Moorish American National, UCC 1-308, without recourse, all rights reserved. I stand by the Book of Ruth, by my deceased organ harvested husband and myself, Jackson. No, 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 kotelanaita kananaitiki. Nena katkronoko koina hatkronchko e kagina tronoko ina raka. And so it's also been reported now in Canaanite land, Canada. They found another set of graves from the indigenous. So it'll be interesting to hear when this information comes out who those children were that were their lives were stolen by these agents. So see to it that all of us are compensated for being subject to that public education system, like we were. As you know, I was reporting about my experience in Magnico Public School when I was kicked around and beaten by Mrs. Vandenberg and all the other hardships that I was subjected to. So see to it that we're compensated for that. Thank you in advance for your speedy response to this matter. By Noble Honorable Ange Elena D. Alfred L. Rubinite Tribe Chief American Indian, Loaded Title Moorish American National, UCC 1-308, without recourse, all rights reserved. I stand by the Book of Ruth, by my deceased organ harvested husband, myself, Jackson. Now you guys know we ask for support here. Thank you to each and every one of you that supported us over this time. We're very grateful for all of that. To support us here, you guys go to PayPal at themullings@gmail.com. For those of you in need of set-off for things like child support cases, mortgages, foreclosures, ticket citations, auto loans, student loans, warrants, and for those of you having to see an agent doing business, parole officer, as well as those of you in the churches doing business as jails for non-violent offenses, you can email us for our private work at themullings@gmail.com. We don't fill it out for you guys because we want you guys to study the laws, right? We need you guys to study the laws so you too can stand. You got to memorize those laws, you guys. So you can also write to us for the 1099 OID to get back the finances they claimed you owed. Now, international authorities, it was reported to us that it's $2 million per charge. See to it now that Jamal and the rest of the people in there get the $2 million per charge in this instant matter as well. Thank you for that. And then you guys can write to us here. All right. Thank you in advance for your speedy response to that matter as well. By Noble Honorable Ange Elena D. Alfred L. All rights reserved. Rubenite Tribe Chief American Indian UCC 1-308 without recourse. I stand by the Book of Ruth by my deceased organ harvested husband and myself, Jackson. All right. Now, remember, you guys, faith without works is dead. Yeah, put you in it, whether it's your Reading thumbprint, your spit, do what you need to do on your documents and that too. And just breathe, think, focus, you guys. Focus on all of us being free. All right, you guys, thank you, international authorities. Again, I want to put a hedge of protection around Donald Trump, the Army, the Navy, the military, the Marines, and all the good people trying to help us get free. Thank you, and have a great day.